In early November 1978, Dome Petroleum of Calgary asked shipbuilders worldwide to bid on an Arctic Class 3 icebreaker with anchor handling capabilities. Saint John Shipbuilding and Drydock were the successful bidder, and in December signed a contract. Canmar Kigoriak was handed over to the owner on the 4th of September 1979, 38 weeks after contract signing. Kigoriak, translated in the Inuit language, is Northern Lights or Aurora Borealis. This is a model built by the carpenter shop in Saint John Shipbuilding. The vessel was in actual fact completed before the model. You can see the bow and the ice reamers there, which we'll see in detail later. It has a single controllable pitch propeller in a nozzle and two Sulzer medium-speed diesel engines producing 17,600 horsepower. The accommodation block and wheelhouse were actually built before the hull because of difficulty getting the high tensile steel. This is in the Davis Strait. We encountered some heavy weather and we're taking some green water over the bow. The bow steel, by the way, is 2 inches thick. Here's some little bergy bits. First ice we'd seen. Here's a bigger piece, and the late Captain Cunningham decided to christen the vessel on that little berg without problem. This was somewhat larger, and we decided to keep our distance from that one. Here's another rather nice iceberg. It was measured 74 meters in height. This is Pond Inlet, where we rendezvoused with the Canadian Coast Guard vessel Labrador, from which we took fuel. We topped up all our diesel tanks as the ice in the Northwest Passage was reportedly getting worse. There's another Canadian Coast Guard vessel leaving on patrol. That one, I believe, was d'Iberville. The next morning we found this superb iceberg, and Captain Cunningham decided it would be good if the vessel could go around behind the iceberg and reappear. So in one of my more foolish moments, I agreed and went with a second mate in the lifeboat to wait its return. We were very happy to see it. I never felt so alone, miles from anywhere. If that ship had disappeared, we wouldn't have lasted very long. You can see the height of the wheelhouse there. It's 17 meters above the waterline to give the captain good visibility in ice. You can see the deck crane there, which was used for anchor handling. another rather nice iceberg. Everything is so clean and pristine up there, the water, the air, the ice. As an aside, the nearest competitive bid to the Saint John Shipbuilding bid was a Japanese bid, and they required 18 months to do the detailed design, drawings, construction and delivery, which Saint John did in 38 weeks. I believe that's Cornwallis Island. Still in open water at this point. You can see the glaciers. I think that's now Melville Island. Nice glacier there. And there's a bigger one. We went up fairly close and blew the horn to see if we could carve an iceberg, but no such luck. Or maybe it was a good thing we didn't carve an iceberg. In the clear water we also saw narwhals, which was quite a sight. Ice getting a little bit bigger here, but still just first year ice, 2 or 3 foot thick, very easy to move through. There's a vessel proceeding through a nice lead. Carried the helicopter primarily to recce ahead and look for leads and make life a bit more easy. Now this is a different kettle of fish. This is in the Northwest Passage itself, and conditions were getting worse rapidly, so we'd left it really to the last minute to make it through to the Beaufort Sea. Failing that, we would have had to gone round by the Panama Canal. The vessel moving steadily through quite heavy ice at about 4 or 5 knots. This ice was estimated at 5, maybe 6 foot thickness. You can gauge for yourself by looking at the handrails and the bollards and comparing to the ice that's been thrown up. The vessel more than satisfied the performance criteria given, and Bent Johansson, a Finn who designed the vessel, told me he was very happy that he wouldn't have to go and sell encyclopedias for the rest of his life. He could continue as a naval architect. There you can see the thickness of the ice, bearing in mind there's a lot more below the water than you see floating on the surface. Due to the short time constraint to build, the vessel was built in large modules, fully outfitted and tested. There was no time to build in a conventional manner. Although modular construction is now the way it's done all around the world, but this is a nice shot of the bow, and you can see the reamer extending, taken from the helicopter. spoon-shaped bow just rises up on the ice, and then the weight of the vessel just breaks it, compared to a conventional icebreaker which has a sharp bow and tries to cut through. Here you can see an ice ridge being easily pushed out of the way. That was at the Northwest Passage, or just having passed it. The scientists we carried decided they'd like a shot with the flag and maybe gain Canada some sovereignty. Of course, we believe it's ours, but others have different ideas. And a fitting end to the Maiden Voyage, we came across a mother and 2 cub polar bears who visited us, and it finished off what was a very successful and unique passage, being the latest passage at the time. To the Beaufort Sea by the northwest. Following morning, we'd completed the ice-breaking part, and we were now in open water in the Beaufort Sea, ready to deliver the vessel to Tuktoyaktuk.